So tell me, snapshot last year, how did everything kind of close in essence?
So I think we last spoke end of Q3. Q4 was good. We ended off on a good note. So end of the year, we were up about 11.5%. We maintained a low volatility of about 5.5%. So we still kept the sharp above 2.
Nice.
It was very similar to 2019, but very different markets in terms of performance.
Yeah.
It was quite nice to see that the fund did well in a very high vol environment compared. 2019 was pretty high vol, but 2020 was crazy vol.
Yeah.
And it's been through all the different regimes now, and somehow we've managed to keep it at a 5.5 vol. So quite glad the strategy is nimble enough to get through this.
Gotcha. Yeah.
That was our 10th straight quarter of positive returns. 2021 so far is looking okay.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So I think last year was an interesting market. That whenever you have a downturn, there's a lot of life support that's given to a market. Either it's monetary stimulus, it's fiscal stimulus, and that's where you get a bit of animal spirits. People just keep throwing money into stocks or anything because the liquidity just pushes asset prices up.
Yeah.
And now we're going to 2021. It's the transition.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be an interesting market this year. A bit more volatile, not so clear cut.
Yeah, a little bit more noise, less signal, let's say, compared to kind of last year, right?
Right. Only because people hate transition, right? And so when you go from one regime to the other, most people are not ready for it, and that's why there's a lot of volatility as people have to change their portfolio allocations.
Okay. So if you're going back to kind of 2020, what did you guys finish on for the year? And how would you even characterize kind of 2020 by the way you kind of think of it? Because going back to your point, it's almost like we saw 3, maybe some could even argue 4 different regimes in 2020.
Yeah, it was incredible, right? You had a mega bull market, a bear market, a bull market,
Yeah.
and even in an interest rate regime changed pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So it's probably the quickest cycle we've ever seen.
And from a cross-asset perspective as well, like literally every asset class moved, and that's not always sometimes the case, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You went through a full economic cycle, so to say, in the capital markets within 12 months. And I can understand that because it was a pandemic. No one had planned for it.
Yeah.
It was a black swan event. I think the regulators, the central banks, etc., the governments came in to support the markets, and that's why they've done a good job.
Yeah.
Right. I think the coordination was pretty good, and so we've recovered quite well. And it's amazing how fast we came out with a vaccine.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's all very optimistic. We're all very positive, and just goes to show you how good. Never underestimate what can be done.